The journey of building a tiny Starbucks, funny and attractive. One beautiful day, when the sun was just rising and the birds were chirping outside the window, Laura decided to embark on a challenging and exciting project, creating a tiny Starbucks. With a soul full of enthusiasm and skillful hands, Laura embarks on this arduous yet humorous DIY, do-it-yourself journey. Step 1. Prepare ingredients. To start the journey of creating a tiny Starbucks, Laura needed to prepare everything from glue, cardboard, watercolor to small details like straws and mini coffee cups. Laura begins her adventure by going to the market, where every time she stops at a stall, she makes the seller laugh because of her strange and funny requests. First, Laura stopped by the craft store to buy glue and cardstock. "I want to buy the best glue you have, but it must be compact enough to glue very small details." "What do you need that little glue for?" the seller asked curiously. "I'm building a tiny Starbucks," Laura answered enthusiastically. "Oh, that sounds interesting. Good luck," the salesperson smiled encouragingly. Next, Laura went to the art supply counter to buy watercolors and brushes. Laura needed bright colors and thin brushes to decorate her coffee shop. "Auntie, I need watercolors, but only bright colors. And the thinnest paintbrush you have." "What are you drawing that requires so much detail?" the seller asked in surprise. "I'm building a miniature Starbucks. I want to make it come alive." "Sounds so fun. Here, I have an extremely thin brush. I hope it will help you succeed," the seller said with a smile on his face. Laura also needed small details like straws and mini coffee cups. Laura stopped by a toy store, which had many tiny items suitable for her project. "I want to buy the smallest coffee cup you have." "Are you going to sell coffee to mice?" the seller happily teased. "No, I'll make a tiny Starbucks for myself," Laura replied, laughing loudly. Every time she leaves the stall, Laura brings with her a small, beautiful item along with good luck wishes from the seller. These wishes give Laura added motivation in her creative journey. After gathering enough ingredients, Laura returned home with a bag full of things. Laura felt excited looking at the diverse bag of items from glue, cardboard, watercolors to tiny coffee cups. Laura knows that each of these items will contribute to creating a special and lovely piece. With a hopeful smile, Laura is ready to begin the journey of building her tiny Starbucks. The happy laughter and wishes of the seller still echo in my mind, making this journey more meaningful than ever. Step 2. Start building. Laura spread the ingredients out on the table, carefully arranging them into small groups for easy finding and use. First, Laura started by cutting cardboard to create a frame for the miniature Starbucks. Holding small scissors in her hand, Laura meticulously cut each piece of paper according to pre-calculated dimensions. Paper cutting is not always easy. Sometimes, stubborn pieces of paper refuse to stay still, causing Laura to try to readjust. Every time the paper scissors slip, Laura has to start cutting again. But instead of being discouraged, Laura burst out laughing. "Why is this so difficult for me to do? It's like I'm fighting with glue." After cutting the pieces of paper, Laura moved on to gluing. Glue becomes a close friend but also full of challenges. When Laura applied glue to the pieces of paper, mischievous drops of glue stuck to her hands, her face, even her hair. Laura kept having to stop to wipe off the glue on her face. But every time she made a mistake or got glue on her face, Laura couldn't help but laugh. "I'll probably become a glue statue." The glue not only stuck to Laura but also spread to the entire desk, causing tiny pieces of paper to fly all over the room. Laura felt like she was immersed in a magical tiny world, where everything was small and colorful. Every time the wind blows, the pieces of paper fly like autumn leaves, creating a beautiful and interesting scene. To create the frame for the Starbucks, Laura had to piece together pieces of paper to form the walls and roof. This job requires patience and meticulousness. Laura carefully glued each piece of paper together, creating sturdy walls and pretty little windows. Every time she completes a section, Laura looks at her work with satisfaction and pride. The process of building a tiny Starbucks is not just a simple cut and paste job, but also an emotional experience. Laura not only had to face the challenges of glue and cardboard, but also had to overcome herself, be patient and persevere to complete her goal. Moments of joy and laughter helped Laura gain more motivation and joy in every step. Finally, when the last pieces of paper were taped into place, Laura looked at her tiny Starbucks frame with pride. Difficulties and challenges have passed, leaving behind beautiful and meaningful memories. Laura knows that this building journey is not just about a tiny coffee shop, but also about her creativity, patience, and endless passion. Step 3. Decorate the coffee shop. Decorating is the part Laura is most looking forward to in the journey of building a tiny Starbucks. That's when the coffee shop will be dressed in a new, colorful, and lively outfit. Laura started by painting the walls, windows, and small bookshelves. Laura chose bright, eye-catching colors for the walls and other details. Holding a tiny brush in her hand, Laura carefully painted each wall and each window frame. Sometimes Laura has to hold her breath to paint the smallest details, so as not to bleed the color out. But when everything is going smoothly, something unexpected happens. Laura's cat, named Mimi, suddenly jumped on the table. With curious eyes and a playful tail, Mimi walked past the watercolor jars that Laura had carefully prepared. In the blink of an eye, Mimi spilled all the watercolors on the table, creating a colorful mess. Mimi, are you going to help me or destroy me? Laura laughed as she hurriedly cleaned up the mess. Laura carefully picked up each jar of paint, wiped the table clean, and rearranged everything. Mimi sat next to Laura, looking at Laura with an apologetic but curious expression. Laura can't be mad at Mimi, because the cat has brought funny and memorable moments during work. After everything was rearranged, Laura continued to decorate the coffee shop. Starting from tiny details like the Starbucks sign, Laura uses her skillful hands to paste them on the coffee shop's facade. The green sign with the prominent Starbucks logo looks lively and eye-catching. Next, Laura made mini coffee cups. Each small glass is placed on the shelf. Each glass has a different color and shape. Laura also made miniature cake plates to decorate the service counter. Small books were also meticulously created and arranged by Laura on the shelves. Laura feels like a tiny architect. Every detail is meticulously cared for. From small chairs, tiny coffee tables to green potted plants, all are placed in the right position, creating a cozy and intimate space. Finally, Laura looked at her tiny Starbucks. With the perfect combination of colors and small details, the coffee shop looks lively and lovely. Every little corner exudes its own beauty, bringing a warm and familiar feeling. Laura felt extremely proud and satisfied with her achievements. The decorating process not only brings joy, but also helps Laura learn patience, meticulousness, and love for every little detail. Every time she looks at the tiny coffee shop, Laura remembers the fun, laughter, and happy moments with Mimi. Step 4. Add funny details. Laura decided to add some humorous details to make the coffee shop more lively. Humor not only brings joy but also creates unique highlights, making the tiny Starbucks special and attractive. First, Laura focused on the menu board. This is where Laura can unleash her creativity with fun and interesting names. Instead of the usual names, Laura writes funny and imaginative names on the menu board. Mouse latte. A latte decorated with the image of a tiny mouse drinking coffee. Meowing cat cappuccino. A cappuccino with milk foam shaped like a meowing cat. Smiling espresso. A strong cup of espresso that brings a bright smile to the drinker's lips. Laura carefully wrote these names on the menu board, each name accompanied by a tiny illustration, creating a humorous and fun scene. When finished, Laura looked at the menu board with a bright smile, feeling the joy and humor radiating from her creative names. Next, Laura decided to make a miniature customer model holding a phone and taking a selfie with a cup of coffee. Laura started by creating tiny figures from clay, carefully molding every detail such as faces, limbs, and costumes. The first character is a tiny girl with long hair, holding a tiny phone. Laura posed for the girl standing in front of the coffee counter, holding the phone high in her hand, smiling brightly. Next to the girl is a mini coffee cup, decorated by Laura with heart-shaped milk foam. The next character is a tiny guy, also holding a phone to take pictures. Laura posed for the boy sitting on a chair, holding a cup of coffee and looking at the phone screen, creating a very realistic and humorous scene. Laura also added some small details like a tiny dog lying at the foot of the table, curious eyes looking up at a coffee cup, or a tiny cat playing with a ball of yarn nearby. These details not only bring vibrancy but also create a cozy and fun atmosphere. When finished, Laura looked at her tiny coffee shop with proud eyes. Funny details not only make the coffee shop special but also bring joy and laughter to anyone who sees it. Laura feels satisfied with her creativity. Every small detail is meticulously cared for and has a personal touch. The tiny Starbucks is not only a handmade product but also a work of art full of affection and joy. Step 5. Complete and admire. After many hours of hard work, Laura's tiny Starbucks was finally completed. Laura stood back a step, took a deep breath and looked at her entire work of art. Everything, from the tiny window frames, the tiny bookshelves, to the humorous menu boards and fun customer models, appear vivid and colorful. Looking at the tiny Starbucks, Laura felt extremely proud. Every little detail bears the mark of patience and love for his art. Laura remembers the first days of starting the project, with all the chaos and difficulties. The times when the glue stuck to my hands, the drops of sweat rolling down when having to meticulously detail every detail, and the bursts of laughter when Mimi mischievously spilled the watercolors. All those moments have become beautiful and meaningful memories. Laura looked at the menu board with funny names like Mouse Latte, Meowing Cat Cappuccino, and Laughing Espresso. The names not only bring laughter but also demonstrate Laura's constant creativity. The menu board becomes a special highlight, making everyone who looks at it laugh and feel excited. Tiny customer models, with a girl holding a phone taking a selfie with a coffee cup and a boy sitting and drinking coffee, also contribute to creating the vibrancy of the Starbucks store. Laura feels like she has created a tiny world full of color and joy, where every little detail tells its own story. Laura couldn't help but smile when she saw the cat Mimi quietly sitting next to her, as if she was also admiring her achievements. Mimi has become an indispensable companion, bringing humorous and motivating moments to Laura throughout the work process. Finally, Laura turned on the lights, warm light spreading throughout the tiny coffee shop. Everything becomes sparkling and magical, like a dream come true. Laura sat down, looked at her work and felt filled with happiness. The tiny Starbucks is not only a handmade product but also a symbol of Laura's patience, creativity, and love of art. With pride and happiness, Laura knows that every moment of hard work and laughter has contributed to creating a lovely and humorous work. The tiny Starbucks will always be a beautiful memory, a testament to Laura's ability and passion in her constant creative journey. The process of creating a tiny Starbucks is not only a creative journey but also a story full of laughter and emotions. Every little detail, every failure and success brings memorable memories. From the first days when Laura started the project, the work table became bustling with all kinds of materials, from glue, cardboard, watercolor to tiny details like straws and mini coffee cups. Memorable moments during work. When glue sticks everywhere, Laura remembers the times when glue stuck to her hands and face. Every time she accidentally stuck it or got glue on her face, it made Laura laugh out loud. Why am I making this so difficult? It's like I'm fighting with glue. Those moments not only bring laughter but also create unforgettable happy memories. Naughty cat Mimi. Laura also cannot forget the times Mimi, the naughty cat, jumped on the table and spilled all the watercolors. Mimi, are you going to help me or destroy me? Laura laughed as she hurriedly cleaned up the mess. These moments not only make Laura laugh, but also make the working process more lively and interesting. Creativity and humorous details. Funny menu board. Laura spent a lot of time coming up with funny names for the menu board, like Mouse Latte, Screeching Cat Cappuccino, and Laughing Espresso. Each name is accompanied by a tiny illustration, creating a humorous and fun scene. Tiny customer models. Tiny customer models, such as a girl holding a phone taking a selfie with a cup of coffee or a boy sitting and drinking coffee, have contributed to creating the vibrancy of Starbucks. Laura feels like a tiny architect. Every detail is meticulously cared for and brings joy. Colorful and fun DIY experience. Not only does Laura create a beautiful product, but she also experiences a colorful and fun DIY adventure. Every moment of hard work and laughter contributed to creating a lovely and humorous work. Future thoughts. With a bright smile, Laura looked at her tiny coffee shop and thought, maybe I will open another tiny coffee shop, but this time it will be a milk tea shop. And maybe I won't. Let Mimi participate in the construction process too. Laura imagines tiny milk tea cups with fun and colorful toppings, which will definitely create an equally interesting and exciting DIY project. Conclude. The story of Laura's DIY journey is not only the story of creating a tiny Starbucks, but also a story of patience, creativity, and joy in every moment. Memories, laughter, and emotions throughout the work process have created a meaningful and emotional work of art. Laura knows that each DIY project is not only about completing a product, but also a journey of experience and self-discovery, bringing joy and happiness to yourself.